we present narrative keyframing for generative creative writing. Our work is inspired by the use of keyframing in animation, where artists draw a key set of important moments on a timeline, then use computers to interpolate the remaining frames. Our technique works in a similar way, where the author specifies a set of narrative keyframes describing important plot points, as well as character development and perspective, that AI can then interpolate with editable prose, offering an adaptive and transparent way to maintain creative control while working with AI.
Now, let's look at a walkthrough of our tool. We start with a canvas organized around a sequence of plot keyframes. These keyframes represent the major events in the story outline. Here we create a 5-part story about a character, Alfred, and his encounter with a dragon. In the first plot, Alfred begins his adventure. In the second, a dragon attacks the kingdom, and Alfred decides to fight back. In the third, he trains to become a knight and gains both skill and courage. In the fourth, he defeats the dragon and saves the land. And in the final plot, he celebrates his victory and looks ahead to the next adventure. Once we have the outline, we can create character arcs for the characters we care about. Character arcs are built through character keyframes placed at important plot points, so we can track and shape how a character develops over time. Users do not need to define character keyframes for every plot point, as our system can interpolate character arcs across plot points. Let's start with our protagonist, Alfred. The system adds empty character keyframes at the first and last plot points by default. We can add more keyframes wherever the character develops. Here, we add keyframes for the second plot, where Alfred is attacked by the dragon, and the third plot, where he becomes a knight. Now we can define Alfred's development across 3 dimensions: physiology, psychology, and sociology. At the beginning, he is an ordinary child, curious about everything. After the dragon attack, he becomes fearful and uncertain. Then, as he trains to become a knight, he gains armor, a sword, and the courage to face danger. By the end, he has become brave and confident. If we are unsure what traits to add at any point, we can click the star icon to ask the AI to brainstorm additional traits. Now, let's complete the rest of Alfred's character arc. But defining traits alone is not enough. Strong characterization also depends on how those traits appear in narrative text. To support that, the system generates first-person perspective keyframes from the character keyframes. These help users examine how abstract character traits can be expressed as concrete narrative evidence. Each perspective keyframe is linked to its corresponding character keyframe. When one is edited, the other updates as well. We can also interpolate new character keyframes between existing ones to develop the arc in more detail. This allows users to move back and forth between high-level character planning and textual expression. Let's also create a character arc for the dragon. Once we have built the character arcs for the characters we care about, we can choose which attributes to emphasize in each plot. The system automatically highlights the corresponding textual evidence in the perspective keyframes. These passages are selected by default and can later be used to generate the final narrative. Next, we click the play icon to generate the story. Before generation, the system lets us review the attributes and evidence selected for each character. Then we click Confirm and Generate, and the system produces a third-person narrative. In the generated story, passages derived from different characters' perspectives are highlighted in different colors. We can also switch to a table view to see how material from each perspective is incorporated into the narrative. Let's look at the final plot. Both Alfred's victory and the dragon's reflection are incorporated into the narrative. The generated story can also be opened in a Markdown editor, where users can continue reviewing and revising the text. To support a more flexible workflow, the system also provides a canvas view. Here, users can create and arrange multiple character arcs for a single character and connect different arcs to explore alternative versions of the story. This is narrative keyframing, a new interaction technique for generative creative writing. For more details about the different types of keyframes and additional features, please see our paper.